who's the coach you can't lose? And the Jags might have people poaching the staff at the end of the year. I like this question. I mean, this is really an off-season. We'll find out. But is it Mike Caldwell? He mentioned Sutton. Listen, Sutton's not going to be a defensive coordinator. Sutton's been a key player here for the Jags over the last couple of years. The mentality of the turnovers, there's no doubt he's been a big part of it. Mike Caldwell, to me, is a rock star right now. I mean, I actually think you can lose Press Taylor after this year because Doug could still go back to calling the plays.
And frankly, it almost feels like Doug is kind of helping Press find that next job with the amount of talk there's been.
Yeah.
Not that Doug was starting all the conversations. But.
And Press gets hammered still, but I think Press is doing fine. The bottom line is the Jags aren't executing in spots. That's not on the offensive coordinator. Their offense has been fine enough moving the football. Some of the metrics look fine enough. ETN's playing well. They got Ingram's playing well. Trevor's playing well. Their offensive line's getting better. They're doing good things. He's fine. I think if they do take off, though, there's a real threat of losing him in the offseason, if this offense starts to go.
Don't you think Press over Caldwell in the power rankings of who could leave first, only because Caldwell's still not getting the respect he's deserved out there?
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think Press Taylor, if this team goes deep into the postseason and their offense really kicks it into another gear in the second half, I think Press Taylor's probably interviewing for jobs at the worst. Sure. I'm not sure Caldwell's on that radar screen yet. For people, I don't feel that. I could be totally wrong. I just don't feel that way.
He's out there earning it.
But I think when Grant asked that question, we went to like a guy like Deshae Townsend.
Yeah, I was kind of curious just because he's the passing game coordinator on the defense, cornerbacks coach as well. And you had mentioned also the Jags break up safeties and corners. So you can't give Deshae all the credit for the entire secondary and their level of play in terms of coaching. But the job Deshae has done with that squad, if responsible for it, is pretty commendable. I mean, you're talking about going up against a Steeler team without two of your big-time starters, marquee starters in the secondary, and you didn't notice. You didn't miss a beat.
Let's phrase it a different way. Is he the MVP of the coaching staff outside of coordinators and Doug Pederson? So you take the big three out, right? Really, special teams too here.
Let's
so
say
four?
him, McCoy, and Rauscher are like in contention, all three.
Yeah, but I don't think people would give Rauscher this yet.
Well, only because people like to take it out on the offensive line. But the reality is it was kind of hodgepodge together for a little bit to start the season. And here comes Phil Rauscher and the rest of the organization who have built maybe one of the deeper offensive line units in all of football. I mean, we were just talking about it a couple of minutes ago. You could lose one or two guys and still have NFL starter-capable dudes up front.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
shout out Bernie Parmalee.
Parmalee's been good, but is he good enough with Bigsby yet? Does that hold him back? We'll get to Bigsby in a bit. But
yeah, I think ETN's great.
I think ETN's been fantastic.
He made James Robinson pretty good, who now can't get a job.
That's a great point. And it was a holdover from Meyer, which were a lot of them.
I mean, he survived that and clearly was a good coach because Urban tried to blame him for everything under the sun, and then Doug's like, nah, it's cool.
That should really be bullet point number one on the resume. I survived Urban Meyer.
One of the few, actually.
Immediately hired.
It's a good staff. I mean, they're doing a great job. That's what we said at the top of the show. I don't think they're getting enough credit. The position coaches, Angulo, Chad Halls is well regarded as a receivers coach.
Chad, we had that interview.
Shuey is.
You were talking about Muma and Foye, Tony Gilbert, inside linebackers coach.
I mean, go up and down. Brenson Buckner, we just left him. I mean, you can really go up. But I would say right now that secondary is playing at an elite level, and they've rotated different guys in, and they continue to play at elite level. And Monteric Brown has gotten better each time out. That's a coaching thing to me. So I would give the nod to a guy like Deshae Townsend right now. Is like the MVP of the coaching staff outside of coordinators and Doug Pederson.